Julian Husband, and then Susie Whitelaw. Lisa Gant, please unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Lisa Gant, and I am with Save Our Beaches San Clemente. In March of 2024, the Orange County Transit Authority announced a project to dump 100,000 tons of riprap boulders on the beaches of San Clemente to protect their tracks. This will essentially destroy our popular state beach. Last week, OCTA applied for emergency permits for destructive coastal armoring of our beaches. We have been speaking to you over the past year, expressing strong opposition to rocks and hard barriers that will destroy our beaches. We have several speakers who will address the following points. Point 1, there is no emergency on the beach side of the tracks. Point 2, one reason there is no emergency is because the sand replenishment project done by the City of San Clemente last year has widened our beaches considerably, and the trains are running. Sand is the solution. Point 3, the only potential emergency is from landslides on the east side of the tracks, and we do support the construction of landslide debris walls. Finally, point 4, we support any necessary repair of existing rock revetment without widening their existing footprint. We do not support a seawall or the construction of a new 50 to 60 foot wide revetment, which would eliminate most of our beautiful San Clemente State Beach. I would also like to point out that this beach shelters critical habitat. Snowy plovers are protected and they are an endangered species. This is a photograph from last week on our beaches of a particularly large flock of snowy plovers. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Gary Walsh, followed by Julian Husband, followed by Susie Whitelaw, followed by Ken Salter, followed by John Dow.
Hello, commissioners, and my name is Gary Walsh with San Clemente Save Our Beaches, SC. Question, when is an emergency not an emergency? The answer, when there's no evidence to support its existence. We've recently witnessed President Trump and our own governor abuse the power given to them under the declarations of an emergency. This is a deliberate attempt to subvert laws and regulations codified in our democratic process. The Orange County Transportation Authority must feel emboldened by these recent events, as they are now submitting for a blanket emergency that will cover most of the 8 miles of San Clemente's beaches. But where is a documented emergency? To date, OCTA has not produced one shred of evidence that their tracks have suffered damage or imminent threat of damage from the oceans. Any imminent threat and damage have been a result of movement from the land side of the tracks. And this is an important distinction. In their permits, they are seeking to address the threat from landsides, but they also seek to build rock revetment along a large swath of the beaches. This would effectively eliminate many of these beaches. There is no reason they can't separate their permits into 2 requests, one to address the threat from the land-based side east of the tracks, and one permit on the ocean side west of the tracks. Instead, they hope to convince you that the entire coastline should be viewed as one emergency, and it's not. They've also resorted to scapegoating you. They blame you. Every time they are asked why they are not putting down sand if the ocean is a future threat, they state, oh, we've submitted permit requests and the regulatory agencies turn them down. But this answer is deceitful and an obfuscation of the truth. The truth is, they have never singularly requested a singular sand-only permit before the California Coastal Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Julian Husband, followed by Susie Whitelaw, followed by Ken Salter, and John Dow.
Good morning. I'm Julian Husbands, a longtime San Clemente resident and member of Save Our Beaches San Clemente, who regularly surfs T Street, Trestles, and San Onofre, as well as the father of 2 teenagers who also spend a lot of time at the beach. I'll echo some of what we've heard from others this morning regarding the folly of additional hard armoring and provide some more specificity around the impact of sand replenishment that we've already seen. Here you can see the city of San Clemente in the process of placing 250,000 cubic yards of sand near the pier. As can be appreciated from this picture, the new sand has a darker brownish color. Next slide. Thanks. This next slide demonstrates how the sand has now moved 2 miles down the coast from the pier and has replenished much of San Clemente State Beach. On the left-hand side of this slide, you can appreciate the narrowness of the beach in 2023, yet OCTA did not declare an emergency at that time. On the right side, from April 2024, post-replenishment, you can see how the beach has been widened, notably by the brownish sand which was added at the pier. This is the area where OCTA is proposing to pave over the beach with additional riprap. As we can all clearly see, there's no need for that. Next slide. Also, last year, the city of San Clemente placed 37,000 cubic yards of sand on the North Beach, which for your frame of reference is about a mile north of the pier. Next. Similar to the sand that was placed at the pier, the North Beach sand has traveled southwards to Mariposa Beach. From this picture, you can appreciate how much wider the beach is following the sand replenishment like the other slide. This is also a beach where OCTA wants to dump more riprap. As we have clearly seen, sand works, just give it a chance. Riprap is not the solution that nature intended here and will hasten the erosion of the beach, precisely the opposite of what we need. There is no emergency, and OCTA must be prevented from additional hard armoring. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Susie Whitelaw, followed by Ken Salter, followed by John Dow, followed by Maura O'Neill, then Cord Bauer.
Good morning, Dr. Susie Whitelaw with Save Our Beaches San Clemente. We oppose the dumping of any more rock on our beaches. We have a saying, boulders kill beaches, and we want no more of them. However, we do recognize the need for OCTA to protect their tracks, therefore we are willing to compromise. But this emergency permit cannot allow more than the minimum amount of rock necessary to alleviate the immediate emergency. I have submitted a detailed analysis to staff that shows that according to OCTA's own engineering diagram, that is a 30-foot wide revetment as measured from the center line of the track. Next slide, please. Here's just one example, a portion of OCTA's own map of their proposed revetments at area number 4. On the right, where the beach is privately owned, they have restricted the revetment to the existing width, about 30 feet out from the center line of the track. On the left, where it's a public San Clemente State Beach, they are proposing to build a 50 to 60 foot wide revetment. If the 30-foot wide revetment can protect the tracks, that is the maximum width allowable under an emergency permit. Next slide, please. A recent photo of the same area. The black line is the boundary between the private beach on the south and the state beach on the north. The red arrow indicates a 60-foot wide revetment previously placed by OCTA where it has destroyed the beach. The red arrow indicates a 60-foot wide, you can see how devastating that would be on the state beach over on the left side. It would occupy all of the dry beach, block lateral public access, increase erosion on the beach, and eventually we would have no beach. Please do not permit a rock revetment wider than the existing revetment or wider than 30 feet from the center line of the rail. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have Ken Salter, John Dow, Maura O'Neill, and Cord Bauer. We have about 10 speakers left on Zoom.
Hi,
comment.
Hello, I'm Ken Salter, resident of San Clemente. I live very close to the state beach, and I've been looking at the drawings and the diagrams, trying to visualize the impact of the revetment on the environment. And I think the public will be shocked and really angry when they see this. And they're going to say, who didn't do their job in government? And people are going to be angry, and they're going to have a damn good reason to be. What I think should happen is before you approve this, you should insist that OCTA constructs a mock-up using stakes to mark out the perimeter of the revetment and balloons or pieces of plywood to indicate how tall it's going to be so people can get an idea of the massing. but we want to see what, how these states, how close they're going to come to the water at mean high tide, to see how this will impede the ability for lateral transport down the beach. People need to know what's coming. And if you wait and if we wait until it's done before the public knows what they're going to have to deal with and how the beach has been ruined, there's going to be hell to pay, in my opinion. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ken. Next is John Dow, followed by Maura O'Neill, Cord Bauer, Robin Davidoff.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm John Dow with Save Our Beaches San Clemente, and I hope you've had a chance to review the email I sent last week. Despite it being in the clear public interest to preserve our coastline and protect the rail line through sustainable sand replenishment, OCTA continues its unnecessary assault on San Clemente's beaches. Their latest emergency permit application for additional coastal hard armoring is yet another example of a reckless reliance on the least effective and most environmentally damaging methods of track protection. It's part of a disturbing pattern, failing to act proactively to address known threats, then using that failure to justify beach-destroying emergency permits. This latest application takes their disregard for our coast and for collaboration to a new level. First, their permit is detailed and consultant-heavy when it comes to their desire to immediately armor more beach, yet offers only vague, superficial references to the timing and amounts of any future sand placement. Then there's their recent PR-timed request for information to potential sand suppliers, which is cursory, performative, and 3 years too late. Even more telling is their failure to advance the critical Army Corps permitting needed to place dredge sand, the most effective and obvious solution. We urge you to reject any part of this emergency permit proposing additional hard armoring west of the tracks. There is no emergency. All past closures were caused by landslides east of the corridor, not wave action. Thanks to recent city-led sand replenishment, there's now more protective beach created at no cost to OCTA with more sand on the way. OCTA needs to be a partner, not an obstacle. Finally, we ask the Commission to require message sending and restorative mitigation for the damage already done at Cypress Shore and Cottons Point, critical lateral access now buried under OCTA boulders. Thank you for standing up for our coast. Your work is essential and is deeply appreciated. Thank you.